wouldn't let him leave.
I'm here.
Studio audience is very happy that you are here. Calm down. We're going to get to all of your questions in just a second. Hey, despite a few questionable efforts by the Warriors, they're still in first place, 35 games into the season. So now the focus turns to where Kevin Durant will play next year. And KD will have a tough decision. Does he stay to ride out the dynasty in Golden State, or does he leave and try and win a title with a new team? According to Durant, won't be easily swayed.
Man, ain't nobody can recruit me no more.
Why is that?
Because I want to dictate the environment that I want to be in. So it's just like, you can't give me the bells and whistles and be like, yeah. I'd rather see what you do on a day-to-day basis. Or like that stuff really doesn't impress me. Arenas and doing extra shit just for me, like, nah. I just want to see if you're a real person.
It's interesting that he used the real person, considering he has 87 other fake Twitter accounts. Broussard, what do you believe is Durant's biggest priority this offseason? What is going to be the biggest factor that goes into what determines where he ends up?
Well, first of all, I think he's absolutely right. This is how he should feel in his 12th year. Nobody has to recruit me. I've won championships. I've been an MVP. I've been a finals MVP.
Right.
Nobody, I don't need to see, you can't come to me and tell me what you can do for me.
That wasn't too much different than LeBron with Magic,
exactly. Right? We all talk about Magic going to the house on
waiting outside, sitting there, right?
LeBron knew. LeBron decided, I want to go to the Lakers. What Magic and Pelinka did was stabilize organization months before, but once that was done, it was up to LeBron. He wasn't recruited. So I agree with KD on that. As far as his priorities, he said some other things in that podcast. He said that he wants statues, a statue out in front of the new arena. We're all going to get statues, him and the other three.
He said the new arena they're building in San Francisco, that everyone's going to have a statue there.
Well, you ain't going to have a statue there if you're not playing there, if you never play there. I don't care that you won 2 or 3 titles in Oakland, right? He also said, I want to get as much money as I can in my next contract. Those two things, statue, as much money as you can, that's Golden State,
If
right?
he's consistent.
That's Golden State. Now, here's what I think KD should do. Okay, I hope he's watching, because this is what I really think he should do.
He's been known to watch.
Right, and text. But I think, assuming they win this championship, okay, their 3rd straight, if they lose it, all bets are off. But if they win this championship 3rd straight, I think he should stay in Golden State 1 more year, play the 1st year in San Francisco, and go for 4 straight titles. 4 straight titles is huge. Nobody's done it since Bill Russell, 1966. Magic, Michael, LeBron, none of them did that. If you win 4 straight, he joined a 73-win team. They won the title without him. That's out the window. That narrative
changes.
It's done.
Because the 4 straight, he was 3 of them.
Yeah, and, well, he would be 4 of them. He would be all 4.
He's saying, okay, I see what you're saying. Absolutely.
And we could even look, because you could look at other super teams, Showtime, the Jordan Bulls, LeBron and Wade. They never won 4 straight. LeBron was with a stacked team. They won 2 of 4. So I also think if this talk about the Knicks is real, and there is legitimacy to it, it gives him another year to sit back and see what the Knicks do. See how the organization, it's already gotten itself together to some degree. But watch Porzingis. Can he stay healthy for a year?
Right.
Does he look like the second guy that I can play with? Do they get Zion Williamson or whoever else in the draft?
Okay.
Does Kyrie or Jimmy Butler or somebody else go there? So I just think the landscape will be better for him if he stays 1 more year, and especially if he wins a ring.
His comments, what I thought was interesting, and I'm glad you keyed on it, was stack as much money as possible. Because that is very different than what we've heard. What's the rumors out of New Orleans with Anthony Davis? That $87 million doesn't mean a thing to him. What was with Kawhi Leonard in San Antonio? The money you can give me that no one else can come close to doesn't mean a thing to me. LeBron has repeatedly left money on the table by signing 1-and-1s. Now, he wouldn't be getting the most money as possible by doing what you're saying, though. He would only be getting the most money as possible by signing the full boat extension. The 1+1, he would still be at some point sacrificing money, but he obviously would be sacrificing statues if he left. Here's the thing, and this is why it's so hard to parse. I do not think Kevin Durant knows what he's going to do.
I agree.
Because I do not think Kevin Durant knows what will make him happy. And that is, by the way, that's not just Kevin Durant. To a lot of people that aren't pro basketball players are struggling for that answer. Like, what will actually make me happy? I have all this success. I have everything I've ever wanted, yet I'm still finding myself wanting more. Why is that? You keyed on, C, off the air, and not to bring it on the air, but I will. Like, Kevin Durant's got some little kid mannerisms to him, whether it's just like what he's fiddling with his hat, Jenna's joking about the social media stuff. He's still, even though he's in year 12, figuring himself out. So I think it's hard to read these tea leaves because I don't think he knows.
I do agree with you.
I know for a fact that in around January of last year, people in the Warriors thought he's gone this year, meaning last year. Like during last season, they thought we're losing KD this coming off season. So I don't know that anyone knows what he's going to do a year later in this off season.
What it seems to me is that the one thing he doesn't want is the scrutiny. He doesn't like that. And I feel like the safest place for him to be would be to stay in Golden State. If he comes to New York, that's as much scrutiny as LeBron gets in LA. That's every night. That's showing highlights. That's on the second biggest stage, basically, in the basketball world.
If you don't win in New York, it's not fun.
Not at all.
I mean, Carmelo, you just see it time and time again. But again, if he won 4 straight, I think he'd have a clean slate to do whatever he wants.
Yeah. What is he going to do? What's going to make him happy? Those things we don't know. I don't think it's a bad option to be able to stay there in Golden State. And he talks about, he also mentioned the arena. Oh, new arenas and everything, because that's the irony to that is they can have a new arena there. So I guess Madison Square Garden being renovated wouldn't matter to him either. So he's sending out sometimes, I think, the wrong message because arenas do matter. Where you're going to go to work, they do matter because they create your culture. Look at the Oakland Raiders now. They don't have no practice facilities. They don't have no Taj Mahal. When you're going there to work, it's hard to be happy when you look at LeBron and what they have with the Lakers and what Golden State is going to have. If you think these practice facilities and all that, then you're missing because that's where you're going to be working. I just believe the NBA history is very, very important. Now, he can either stay in Golden State and capture that, trying to get 4 in a row if they're able to win this year, or if he wins 3 in a row and decides to come to New York or another franchise and he's able to win, I believe that's just as big or bigger than LeBron when he went back to Cleveland and had that 1 championship year, because I believe it will balance the basketball world. So if he's able to come back to the Eastern Conference, I believe that's the best thing for the NBA. I don't know if that's the best thing for Kevin Durant.
The one team we haven't mentioned that, again, is because we don't know, like we said, what Kevin Durant actually wants, is to go to Los Angeles to the Clippers. And if he takes not just the league, the city of LA out of LeBron's hands, that's another factor there.
Right.
And I know the Clippers, they've got 2 max spots open. I know the Clippers believe they're going to have a real shot at Kawhi and Kevin Durant, and certainly believe a very good chance at least one of them. And so we're going to follow this all year long. The one name that hasn't been mentioned here is Draymond. And I think that continues to be a factor. I don't think that ever got fixed. I don't think Draymond and KD are now playing video games together. I think there's still a bubbling tension that might be even exacerbated by how poorly Draymond's playing offensively. But that is, I mean, this is going to continue to be a story all year, because all year long, I think KD's going to go through ebbs and flows of what he believes he's going to do.
KD and Draymond, they've talked several times about this whole situation. Now, I don't think it's back to pre-argument in terms of their relationship, but it has gotten better. I still think there is some tension, but they got a long season left, so I think they can work through that. As far as the Clippers, you're right. If it's not New York, I think it's the Clippers. And when KD went to Golden State, the Clippers impressed him so much with their presentation. And Doc Rivers was a big part of it. Now, granted, Doc was president at that time. It was a little different organization. But KD was blown away by their presentation. Ballmer was a part of that.
And the team's better now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great place to go.
He just said he doesn't care about recruiting, doesn't care about any of that stuff. What's it?
That was
right, that's my point.
LeBron used to care about, like, he's really following the LeBron path. LeBron would take less money, and now then he got to a point where he's like, look, I want the most money I can get. KD's doing the same thing.
Going to the Clippers, having to play across from, I think the whole thing
LeBron path would be
him out. New York. Chris Broussard, stick around. Coming up, which Sixer All-Star shouldering all the blame for their recent loss to the Celtics? That's next on First Things First.
Hey, you need to get some tough skin. Like, I called you Al B. Sure, you got over that.
Because Al B was the man back in the day. One hit wonder.